I've been a mentor to my young friend Bobby, who's really had to work hard in school. I've been thinking about introducing him to the Big Six. Now, the Big Six I learned about at a teacher's conference a few years back. We had a visit from Dr. Eisenberg, Dr. I, the information guy. Well, he and his partner, Bob Berkowitz, came up with a system for solving any problem that involves information, which I really needed because I was trying to cram so much information into my head that it hurt. So now I have a way of approaching any situation that involves information. Thanks to Dr. Eisenberg, I'll be using the Big Six all of my life.
Hi, I'm Mike Eisenberg, co-author of the Big Six Approach to Information and Technology Skills. This video was developed in response to popular demand from you, classroom teachers, teacher librarians, and even parents for help in getting your kids excited about learning information and technology skills to help your kids become experts in the Big Six skills. More specifically, you asked for a grabbing visual tool that really gets kids excited and gets their attention and helps them to see the value and importance of learning. You wanted a tool that you could use to introduce the Big Six to kids. Well, here it is, a video aimed directly at upper elementary and middle school students for use by them as well as by you, their teachers and parents. The Big Six is an approach and model to solving problems, specifically information problems. And that's pretty important to be able to do in a world that floods us with information, much of which is misleading or even inaccurate. So I think that we all agree that it takes more than just reading, writing, and arithmetic to succeed and achieve in today's world. The new basics for all students include being able to find, use, and evaluate information, often by using computers and other technologies. And let me emphasize that these new basics are more than just about finding the information. They're about the whole process, and that's what the Big Six represents. So here's a quick review of the Big Six. Big Six number one, task definition. This is the skill of defining the information problem and then identifying the information that's needed to solve that problem. Big Six skill number two, information seeking strategies. That's determining all possible sources and then selecting the best sources. Big Six number three, which is location and access. That's locating the sources and then finding the information within the sources. Big Six number four is use of information. That's engaging the information, the resource, and then extracting the relevant information. Big Six number five is synthesis. That's organizing information from multiple sources and presenting the information. And Big Six number six, evaluation, which means judging the product, which is effectiveness, and also judging the process, which is efficiency. These are the Big Six skills. But when we talk about the Big Six approach, we're talking not only about these six essential skills, but also about ways to help students learn these skills. How do we do this? First, we look at the classroom curriculum and classroom assignments. This is really, really important because the Big Six information and technology skills should not be taught by themselves. They should not be taught in isolation. Integrating the Big Six with classroom curriculum is actually pretty easy because all assignments require students to do something with information. So if you're a classroom teacher, please realize that the Big Six is not an add-on. It helps your students to succeed on your assignments in your classroom or state curriculum. Second, in helping students to learn the Big Six, we explain to students how the 6 stages connect to what they are trying to accomplish. Most often, this means talking them through an assignment or a task, and then describing what will take place at each stage of the Big Six. After a while, the students become very familiar with the Big Six stages and are able to make the connections on their own. Thirdly, we help students by developing and delivering specific lessons to teach them the tools and techniques they need for carrying out each of the Big Six stages. These lessons can be short 20 to 30-minute sessions, always linked to the real curriculum and real assignments. Think about the expertise and information problem solving that students will gain by integrating the Big Six over an entire school year and then over a number of school years. Now we're really making sure that our kids have information power. Well, enough of me. It's time to get on to the main part of the video. Let me end with just a few comments on how you might use this video. First, the video is appropriate if you and your students already know and use the Big Six, or even if this is your first introduction. You can show the whole tape, or you can stop after each of the skills is introduced and then talk to the students about them. The PowerPoint slides that are used in this video are available for downloading on the Big Six website. That's www.big6.org. You can use these as you present on the Big Six or as part of your own lessons. There are also many Big Six lessons and examples on the big6.org website and in Big Six books that are published by Linworth Publishing. Lastly, I want to put in a plug for the very first Big Six video. That's called The Big Six in Action, and it's a 38-minute introduction for adults. And this is very popular with educators as well as with community members. That's also available from Linworth Publishing. Thanks for listening and for making the connection between Big Six learning and student success.
My friend Bobby's been sick for 3 weeks. And now that he's almost well, it's the last day before vacation. So he's pretty much on his own to get caught up with his schoolwork. I'm thinking he needs some super-powered information tools to help him out. I'm gonna teach him about the Big Six. Hey, Bobby, what's happening?
Hey Travis, so far behind, I'm never gonna catch up. My social life is like over with.
No, it's not, because I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna teach you about the Big Six.
No, you're not. There's just already too much to learn.
Relax. Once you get the Big Six down, everything else is easier. The Big Six is a 6-step process. There's task definition. This is where we define the problem and identify all of the information needed to solve that problem. Then we have information seeking strategies. This is where we determine all possible sources and select the best possible sources. Next is location and access. This is where we locate the sources and we find the information within each source. This is usually followed by use of information. This is where we really engage, where we read, see, hear the information, and we extract all of the relevant information, what you really want. Next, we have synthesis. This is where we organize the information and we present the result. But we aren't finished until the evaluation. This is where we judge our effort in terms of effectiveness and we judge our process in terms of efficiency and we see how we could have done it better next time. Now, you don't have to do any step in any particular order. It's pretty much just a framework which tells you how to solve an information problem. Get it?
No, not really.
Okay, I'll give you an example. Listen and learn. Today, I wanted to get the class assignments for my sick friend Bobby. So I started with task definition. What are Bobby's classes and what are Bobby's assignments in those classes? Then came information seeking strategies. I figured the best source of information would be to contact your school. So I located your school using the phone book. I accessed your teachers, got your assignments from them. I made photocopies for you. That's use of information. Then I put them in an order of which ones were due first. That's synthesis. Finally, I evaluated how I did and I figured that if I had called your school first, they would have had all your assignments ready for me and then I would have saved a whole bunch of time.
Yep.
See what I mean?
It's still just a lot of big words.
I got an idea. Let's try this. Till use. T, task definition. I, information seeking strategies. L, location and access. U, use of information. S, synthesis, and E, evaluation. Now you try.
All right. T, task definition. I, information seeking strategies. L, location access. U, use of information. S, synthesis. E, evaluation. Okay, I get it. But what now?
Here's a tape of when Dr. Eisenberg visited a class and showed them all about the Big Six. Pop that other tape out and let's do some learning.
I'm the guy that invented, along with my friend Bob Berkowitz, the Big Six, which is a way of solving problems. And so what I'd like to do with you this morning is to go through one of the assignments that you're working on, which I understand you have an assignment that you're playing with related to owls, all right? So what's the first stage of the Big Six? Who knows what the first stage is? Raise your hand if you know what it is. What's the first stage?
Task definition.
Task definition, right. What's your name?
Jordan.
Jordan. Jordan, what does it mean to do task definition? What are you supposed to do? Do you know?
Define the task.
Define the task. So our task here involves owls, right?
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do about owls? Can you help me out?
Figure out information about them.
You have to get information about owls, all right? And are you just going to turn in the information on pieces of paper and
We
do
have
stuff?
to write it in our own words.
You have to write it in your own words. You have to make like a report about owls and stuff? Okay. The second part of task definition is called, what types of information do I need? We're not talking about sources. We're talking about the types of information I need. Do we need pictures? Would that be helpful?
Yeah.
Right? That would be good, right? So what other kinds of information do we have to collect about owls?
Is what they eat,
Uh-huh.
you know, how they eat, and, you know, what kind of things, you know, they eat and everything, and
So it's
How they
what they eat, how they eat, and what was the last thing?
how they live and stuff.
How they live. Excellent. That's really good. All right. So that's task definition. We know what we're doing. We're collecting information about owls, right?
So what's your assignment in history?
Research what was going on in the world when my grandparents were my age.
Is there any more detail?
Hold that thought. Here's what it says. Describe a day in the life of one of your grandparents when they were your age and make an oral presentation incorporating multimedia elements.
So what do you have to do?
I have to spend the rest of my life researching old people.
Is that what it says? Let's see if we can be a little bit more specific about your assignment. What are some of your options in defining your problem?
There aren't any options. The teacher already gave us the assignment.
Okay, which of your grandparents are you going to research?
Oh, I see. I need to decide on my topic. I think I'll go with Grandpa Raymond.
Good. And what are some of your requirements?
Research.
And what are you supposed to end up with?
I have to make a presentation.
What kind of presentation?
Oral and multimedia.
So what does that mean in terms of what types of information you're going to need? What does multimedia mean to you?
Well, I need to know some facts.
Like the year your grandfather Raymond was born?
And other media.
Like,
Old photographs.
or
Audio.
like,
Movies and TV shows.
how much information do you need?
Well, I'll need to know enough about my grandparents so I can tell why these 3 historical events shaped his life growing up.
Can you find all that in one source? How many sources will you need?
I'm not really sure. I think I'll maybe need 4 or 5 sources.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can go with that.
Sounds like we're ready to move on to step number 2. Information seeking strategies. Determine all possible sources and select the best sources. Okay? How are you going to track down that information?
I already tried. It didn't work.
Well, if you tried something, that means you at least had some kind of plan. Maybe your plan could have been better. What happened?
Well, I searched on the internet for the year 1929, the year my grandpa was my age, and came up with like a bazillion hits. The first hit was like a collection of old maps.
Okay.
The second one was like a store trying to sell me something. The third one, I couldn't even figure out. I wasted 30 minutes and got nothing from my report.
Sounds like you need some new information-seeking strategies. Let's go find out what Dr. Eisenberg says.
Number 2 is called information seeking strategies. This is where we think of all possible sources and then we select the best ones, all right? Can each of you for a minute think about a source that you might use for this? What would be a good source if we're going to do it? Yeah.
A dictionary.
Maybe a dictionary. Any other sources?
An encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia, in fact, right? Is this a good one to use? Yeah. Why is this a good one to use?
Because it tells you about different things about places of like animals.
Yeah, it tells you a lot. There's also some specific encyclopedias just about animals, right? Because I'm going to give you a choice now. I'm going to give you a choice. We have a choice of websites. We have a choice of general encyclopedia. We have a choice of special encyclopedia. And we have a choice of books. I want you to all think, the whole class for a minute, whole class, I want you to think, which source do you want to use first? Chelsea, which one do you think? Which one are you going to use first?
I'll use the encyclopedia about the animals.
Why? Why would you use the encyclopedia about the animals?
Because it's mainly talking about, animals like, some of us is studying about, owls, but some of us studying about different things. So if she was wanting to, study about like a giraffe or something like that.
So it gives you some other things in it as well. Who else would use a different source? Jordan, which one would you use?
I'd use the internet because you can find things easier and there's lots of recommendations.
So you like the internet, you like websites. It's easier to find and there's lots of different things. There's also sometimes a lot of garbage out there on the internet, right? So you got to be pretty smart with what you use, all right? Everybody picked a different source. You have to tell me which one, who's right? Who's right?
I don't know.
You know why you don't know? Because there's no right answer. They're all right, aren't they? So, Camille, you have a choice of which of these you want to solve. That's information seeking strategies, all right?
Let's start with a brainstorm. This is where we write down all of our ideas and then we discuss them later. Where are you going to find your information?
Not the internet.
Oh, internet, I'm writing it down. What else?
Encyclopedia.
Encyclopedia is good. Give me another.
The library.
The library is a very good source. What else? What about your grandfather Raymond?
Well, none of my grandparents are alive, so I think I'll have to talk to my dad. He may know something about them.
People can be very good sources.
How about some of my grandparents' old friends?
Old friends are good. What about old newspapers and old magazines?
How about movies and TV shows?
Good. If we get any more ideas, we can write them down later. Remember, the big six can go in any order. All right? So, what's your first choice?
The library.
Why?
Because it's got the internet, the encyclopedia, old newspapers, old magazines, movies, and TV shows all in one place. It's going to be really efficient and save us a lot of time.
Everything in one spot is always good. So what's your second choice?
Movies or TV shows.
And why are they a good source?
Because it'll be fun to watch.
But remember, if the movie's a fictional movie, you won't know if the information is accurate.
Well, I think I'll need like 4 or 5 sources.
This is going to work great. Are you sure the library's around here?
I think it's over that way a few blocks.
Do you have the address?
No.
Okay. How are we going to find it?
We could ask someone.
Who?
Alright. I'll just go check the phone book.
Now that's good thinking.
Yeah.
Bobby, you realize this is step 3 in the Big Six? Location and access. We have to locate the library in order to access the information in it for your project. You want to know what step 3 of the Big Six really is about? Indexes. The index is our secret weapon. An index is any type of list that helps you find the information that you need, like yellow pages, search engines, books. All of those indexes have lists to show us where we can find the information we need. It's like Dr. I says.
Everybody say the word index with me. Index. Say it loud. Index. Why is an index so valuable? Why is an index so important?
Because it shows everything that you need.
It shows everything you need, and it helps you to find it so you don't have to read the whole book. What is the index to the internet called? The index to the internet is called a search engine, and one of the search engines you use is called, what is it? What's the search engine?
Google.
Google, right. What's another? It's one.
Yahoo.
Yahoo is another index to the internet. What's another one?
Encarta.
Encarta is an encyclopedia that's on the internet. You understand? If you want to use the web, you need to use what?
Google.
Google, and because Google is a what?
Search engine.
It's a search engine which is just like what's in the back of the book.
Index.
Index, that's what it's all about. That's the key to locational access.
Bobby, come here and show me what you usually do when you're searching the internet.
Well, usually what I do is type in the search word, and then I go through the search results.
Man, you gotta look before you click. See what you can figure out about a search result before you click on it. Make sure that the title and description relate to your topic. Then check the web address to see who's making this information available. Here's a secret. .com is usually a business or someone trying to sell you something. So there are plenty of others that are far better for school research, such as .org is usually a nonprofit organization. .edu is a school or educational institution. And .gov is a government agency. So try one of those.
I still get almost 1 million hits.
Okay, next thing. Try and narrow your search by, instead of just typing 1929, try 1929 and news.
Wow, more words for less hits. That's weird. What else can I do?
Okay, another thing you can try. Most websites can exclude words also. So since 1929 was an election year, you can put the word president with a minus sign in front of it and no more pages with the word president on them.
Sweet. That'll help.
One more thing. Remember, search engines show your result in order of popularity. So go through the list and find a few you like. Good. Looks like you've been busy.
It's kind of confusing, and I can't remember all the stuff. Sometimes it runs together, sometimes it doesn't. But most of it's about the Great Depression. And I can't always remember it.
Well, step 4 is use of information, and the key is good note-taking. So I brought a tape. Let's go find a VCR and see what Dr. I has to say.
Yeah, let's go find it.
Stage number 4. What is stage number 4 again for the Big Six?
Use of information.
Use of information, right? Now, use of information has to do with note-taking and how we take the information out, right? If you're using an encyclopedia, even one like this, and you're taking notes about owls, how would you take notes? What do you usually do?
Read what you want, and then once when you get all the information that you want, you just write it down.
You write it down. That's one way. Do you like writing it down? Do you like taking notes by writing it down?
Sometimes.
I don't like writing it down by notes. It hurts my hand. Do you ever hear of a program called PowerPoint? What I like to do is to create slides to take notes. Okay? So take a look at this. I'm going to show you something. This is a PowerPoint slide, right? Okay? And you have usually different parts to it, right? So what we do is we take notes, we put the notes in here, we put the title up here, and we put the source, the bibliography information down there. And then when you get another piece of information, you can create another one of these, and you have slide, 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 and then you can move them around and use them any way you want. Now, let's say that you're using a website. You can copy the information from the website, right? And then you can paste it right into the PowerPoint. After you've got your your slides all in order, then you can work on putting it in your own words. So you could try that. Now, if you don't have PowerPoint, you can do this with just a word processor. So you see how that kind of all fits together?
So what information are you looking for?
Historical events of the year 1929.
Good. What do you know so far?
Too much. That's the year the stock market crashed, the Great Depression, and everybody has something to say about it.
Well, do a quick scan of the index. Find what you're looking for. Let's see what we can find. This index. Find the index 20s. All right? So we turn to a page. And what we do is we read the first paragraph, and then we read the last paragraph in each section and see if this has the kind of information you want.
Okay, but this isn't on a computer, so I have to write all this down.
Write down the main points and keep track of where you found the information. So like, for instance, 1929, stock market crashed, everybody was broke.
So how do I know it's important?
Well, you decide that the next step, synthesis. So for now, just keep track of anything that's interesting to you and if it relates to your topic.
Okay.
One thing I do is to photocopy the good parts, and then you highlight the sections that you really like. Be sure to keep track of where you found your quotes, so later on, you really look like you know your stuff.
Hey,
Yeah.
do you think these notes will work?
Let's see. You highlighted a few quotes. This came from the book, The Great Depression, and this is from that movie we watched about Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
This is gonna work great. So how's it going?
Well, I got 5 pages of information and I only need 2.
Sounds like it's all coming together.
Well, not really. It's just a whole bunch of boring facts.
Well, this is step 5, synthesis. It's about pulling together all the information you've collected so it makes the most sense. There's lots of ways to do it. Play the next part of the tape and I'll be right over.
All right, peace.
Here's a tip about synthesis. When you organize your project about owls or about anything, you could do it as a story. You could tell the story of an owl from birth to death, right? You could do that kind of thing. Another way to organize is around categories. What are some categories?
Like where they live or something?
Where they live. What's another category?
What they eat.
What they eat. So these are 2 different ways that you could do it, all right? A third way is as a web. And what you do is you have things that come off of the center thing, so you could be talking about the owl's life, and then you can talk about things that come off it. So those are ways to organize.
Okay, so those are just some of the ways that you can organize your report. But there's lots of others, like chronological, alphabetical, numerical, small to large. You can use any one you want as long as it supports what you want to say and it makes it easy for others to follow. So, how are you going to structure your report?
Well, first I'm going to make it like a story. My grandfather can't get to school because the snow is too deep, and the whole family's just huddled around the fire listening to the radio. And that's where I'm going to bring in my historical events.
Very interesting.
Because I'm having trouble organizing my facts, I think I've came up with a solution. I've created 2 categories. One being daily life, which will be highlighted in yellow, and one being historical events, which will be highlighted in other colors, such as red, green, and blue.
Very clever. So how'd your presentation go?
Great.
Well, what grade you get?
I don't know.
Well, what'd you learn?
I learned that with the help of my friend Travis, I can write a great report.
Well, what would you do if I wasn't there? What would you do differently next time?
I don't know, Trav. I couldn't have done it without you.
Well, look, this is step 6 in the Big 6, evaluation. It's all about looking back on what worked and what didn't work so you can do better next time. All right, last time.
Evaluation. We want to evaluate 2 things. We want to evaluate, where does it say? judge the result, the product, right? And then judge the process. Judge the product means when you turn in your assignment, right, and your teacher grades you, right? Your teacher gives you a grade, that's judging the product, okay? Make sure you include all the parts, right? You have to find out to make sure all the different parts, because students sometimes don't get a good grade because they leave out one or two parts. So that's the first part of evaluation. The second part is to judge the process. That means if you could do the whole thing again, what would you do differently?
So were you efficient in creating your presentation? What could you have done differently next time?
Man, well, I could have got directions to that library so we'd have never got lost. That would help. Yeah. But there were other problems. I mean, like, I could have took notes first time so I didn't have to read the darn material twice.
Touch it only once.
Yeah. But my last problem was, if I would have just done everything on the computer, like copying and, you know, pasting to rearrange my notes, everything would have gone faster.
Excellent. By evaluating what worked and what didn't, you can do better next time. All right, let's go play some ball. You got game?
Yeah, I got game.
Yeah, you don't have game. I got the ball. Hey, Bobby, what you up to?
Hey, Trav, starting a band.
Are you using a Big Six to do it?
Of course I'm using the Big Six.
Tell me about it.
First, I have to decide on what kind of guitar I want to buy. Then I need to see what my options are.
Step one, sounds good. How are you going to do this?
Then I'm going to talk to my good friend Jim. He's very good with guitars. He probably knows enough, but I need to talk to a salesperson for more accurate information. That's information-seeking strategies.
Okay, then what?
Well, I'm already on step 3, location and access, because I got this consumer report
Very smart.
from the bookstore. Using this information, I made a table listing the price, pickups, color, and action. That's use of information. This is going to help me make a decision on which guitar to buy.
And your decision will take the place of your report in the synthesis section.
Yes, and then if I get the guitar that looks good and sounds even better, I'll know I did a good job.
Evaluation. Bobby, you're becoming a genuine Big Six expert. I got one question for you. Can I join your band? Put me in the band. I'm a great band guy. I can do lots of stuff. I can sing. What a wonderful world. I can introduce you. Introducing Bobby and the Big Six. Bobby and the Big Six have been performing for many years. Bobby's learned how to do the Big Six, got himself a guitar. Guitar from the Consumer Report, boy. Just look at that.